Mickey Spagnola, Cowboys, and everybody in the NFL opening up this weekend, including the Lions and Chiefs tonight. Chiefs will be without Kelsey, their spectacular game weapon, the tight end or hybrid. Mickey, thanks for your time. All right, Cowboys open up the first game of the year. If you, no matter who the opponent was, what do you think are a couple of the, we always talk about positive, but what are a couple of things you're not so sure about no matter who they were playing this opening weekend?
Whoa. You're supposed to make me think, huh? Well, I mean, I think the obvious one, although I'm pretty sure of him, I think the rookie kicker's pretty darn good. I think he's got a lot of talent. So I'm going to eliminate that. Look, here's the deal with this team. From a starting standpoint, they don't have any holes. There's not a position that I'm sitting there going, well, I don't know. They need help there. Now, the one spot they need, and I'm thinking if that's all you need, then you're in pretty good shape. The depth on the offensive line, right? They don't have any. And unfortunately for them, and I don't know if you guys seen the injury report, but
yep.
Tyler Smith walked off with a tight hamstring on Monday, and he hasn't practiced since. Now, I watched him do rehab today, and he was doing the cords and, all that stuff, resistance stuff, really well. And I'm thinking if you got a really bad hamstring, you can't do lunges. And he was doing them. But on top of that, Tyron Smith walked off today after rolling his ankle. Now, not sure the extent of the injury, but those are the two spots they can at least afford to lose anybody for a season opener. And it goes back to what my worry was, is they didn't have much depth on the offensive line. Now, I don't know who in the league has depth because no one has enough quality offensive linemen. And, the Cowboys have basically one veteran and a bunch of rookies or young guys. They're guys that have been on the practice squad but have never played. So that's been my concern all along after they lost Josh Ball, who hasn't played much, but at least he's been with the team for a couple of years. And Matt Waletzko, both of these guys on IR, that they were kind of counting on for depth. So that's my concern. I don't have any concerns about the defense. I think they're going to be pretty darn good. And I think they'll be improved to stop the run, which was their Achilles heel last year. And offensively, might be one of the best wide receiver groups they've had in quite some time. And Tony Pollard came back from his surgery, I should say, and he looks awfully good. And adding Deuce Vaughn, they got a lot of speed on this offense. So, yeah, those aren't my worries. The worries are in a backup situation on the offensive line.
Mickey, do you expect to see? I'm gonna say his name wrong, but Noah Igbinoghene. Did I say it wrong? I said it wrong. Do you expect him to see Igbinoghene? Thank you. Do you expect to see him part of the rotation early on, or is he more of a let's see down the line?
Oh, I think he's down the line. I think he's depth. He's depth as a outside cornerback because they really didn't have another outside guy. They had a bunch of guys that can play in the slot. And so, I mean, who's he going to play for? He's not going to start in front of Stephon Gilmore. He's not going to start in front of Trayvon Diggs. I think Deron Bland's pretty much solidified in the slot. Jordan Lewis should be ready to come back in a week or so. Nashawn Wright is still battling an injury. So they needed some depth on the outside. Look, that trade they did, and I can't remember if I told you this, it was like trading a bag of peanuts for a bag of walnuts.
Yeah, that's why I was curious about it, about where he fit in, and then, especially early in the season where he jumps on. So, Mickey, you mentioned that you feel to be better against the run. Now, obviously, the focus will be on Mazi Smith, the first-round draft pick, and the rookie. But around him, on that defensive front, the defensive tackles, Jonathan Hankins, full year, full offseason with the Cowboys. Neville Gallimore was thought to maybe be on the bubble, but he made the team. Osa Odigizua, they really, really do like him, and it appears that it's growing. Are these not maybe more important, but kind of on the level of Mazi Smith has to contribute as a rookie, but these guys being in that rotation and being better is also key to that?
Well, he's behind them, okay? So your starters are going to be Jonathan Hankins and Osa Odigizua. And then we'll see if Mazi rotates in, because he hasn't, lit the thing up right from the start. And we got to remember, he was the 27th pick, right? It wasn't like the number 10 pick in the draft. So we'll see what he's able to do. You start this first game, right? And the Giants have a rookie center. Now, if Mazi Smith, what he's supposed to be, man, I'm putting him on that rookie center and saying, just, knock the hell out of him. We aren't worried about if you're making tackles, just to kind of destroy it in the middle there. But again, he's got to earn his way. He's got to earn some snaps. I think there's assumption out there, because he's the first round pick, that he automatically is the starter. The way they've been playing it in practice that we get to see, and from training camp, it's been Jonathan Hankins and Osa Odigizua. I love saying that name, by the way. And so, yeah, that's where they are there. And you remember last year, they didn't get Jonathan Hankins till late, and then he was injured and he missed some games. He was really helping them out when he was able to play, helping out and kind of clogging things up against the run. And the one thing that I noticed in training camp is when you put him and Mazi Smith next to each other, that's a lot of space they're eating up in the middle. So they're hoping that Mazi can contribute. I don't know how long it's going to take. But the guy that was the best up front was Osa. I thought he really had a really good training camp. And then they moved basically Chauncey Golston from defensive end. They've moved him inside. And then when it comes to the nickel, they're moving defensive ends inside. And the plethora of defensive ends rushing on the outside. So from that standpoint, those defensive tackles might be first and second down guys, but when it gets to third down, they could go with 4 defensive ends on the field.
I think sometimes when you open up against a division opponent, it could, if you lose the game, it doesn't mean much, because a lot of teams, it's when you go 0-2 or 1-3, whatever those trends are from the history. But the Cowboys have had a great record against the Giants, but they've had a great record against the entire NFC East. So to me, anytime they could open up against a conference they have dominated, no matter what Philly did last year, you do it. And I understand, Mickey, why the Giants and Cowboys would be what the network would want on a Sunday night or a Monday night game. But do you get a little bit stale with that game, that you'd like to see something more refreshing as the opening game?
Yeah, we've seen this picture show before, right?
Yep, 11 times apparently.
But you know what? The networks just can't resist.
Mm-hmm.
An NFC East division game. You got the New York market. You got the Cowboys, countrywide market. How do you get better than that unless you are going to put the 2 Super Bowl teams in a rematch or something like that? So, yeah, I mean, what more can you ask for? It's the Cowboys, the Giants, the NFC East. It's in the big city, national TV, and one thing I don't know if you guys are tennis fans, but boy, that weather could make a difference in this opener, because these tennis players in the U.S. Open are suffering from the temperature and the high humidity. I've never seen more cramping up going on, and I'm not sure in tennis matches, and I've watched a lot, that I've seen guys having to change their shoes after sets because they're sweating so much.
Mickey, enjoy. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. On the verge of the season opening up here in just a little bit with Kansas City and Detroit, Patrick Mahomes and the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs.